Hi, this is Wendy Wright, and this is my Lecture 10 activity for Education 6422 Needs Assessment. Today I would like to tell you about my needs assessment project completed this semester. I chose to do a needs assessment for a healthcare company. That company complained their customer satisfaction scores for a particular type of software training had decreased. The company training manager wanted to find out how to increase customer satisfaction, how to increase confidence in training staff, and how to decrease repeated on-site customer visits. My data collection methods included surveying the trainers and interviewing multiple managers. The solution was training for everyone. Let's think about that. Not so fast. Lesson number 1, back it up. It's important to manage client expectations, beginning with the initial conversation. It's important to establish a collaborative relationship and to keep the training request in context of the business need. You want to guide the client away from identifying an intervention and gain support for needs assessment data collection. Finally, set a reasonable time frame for each deliverable. My second lesson is to keep the eyes on the need. As Toby states, training adds value only when it ultimately serves a business need. It's important to keep in mind that a needs assessment is not the same as a training needs analysis. As previously mentioned, it's important to steer the customer away from just assuming that training is going to be one of the interventions. The correct identification of needs is also crucial. You'll be evaluating mega, macro, and micro level business needs, as well as performance, learning, and learner needs. I've learned from this that it's a very recursive process, that you're constantly going back and referring to the need and making sure that everything goes back to ultimately serving that business need. The third lesson that I learned is that findings are not the same as recommendations. These are two completely separate thoughts and need to be kept apart. First, identifying the findings are the facts that you get from the data. Then you relate those findings to the business needs, the performance needs, learning objectives, and start to think about the delivery of training. Recommendations are action items that you plan to do based on the findings. I found it surprisingly hard to separate these two in my head and to avoid bias. Also keep in mind that training and non-training interventions are possible. My fourth lesson was that client relationship is important. It's important to present to your audience, to adjust your presentation style as necessary, speak their language, including no jargon, and attempt to attain client sign-up for each intervention that you recommend. Finally, it's ultimately important to empower the client by highlighting things that they have control over. Lesson number 5, my personal takeaways from this project are that needs assessments have more than meets the eye to them. They can be simple, but they can also be deceptively complex. Second, you need to leave way more time than you think you need, especially for data collection and analysis. Finally, be prepared to put your thinking cap on. As previously stated, the recursive nature of this process means that you must go back, completely refer to each step in the process, and critically think about what's going to be best to reach that business need. Thank you for an enjoyable semester.